The WWE schedule is built around its monthly pay-per-views. So it's SummerSlam officially in the books. It's time for the roster to begin preparing for Extreme Rules. September 26th. Following their Raw Tag Team Championship victory on Saturday night, Riddle announced he would throw himself and Randy Orton some kind of celebration. After her loss to Charlotte Flair, former Raw Women's Champion Nikki ASH teamed up with Rhea Ripley to take on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. We also saw Logan Paul return to WWE television for a special appearance on John Morrison's talk show Moist TV. Let's take a look at what happened on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw as we sort out the fallout, the Raw fallout from SummerSlam. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by my elite panel, good old MF Michael Fletcher, the phenom Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our legendary Raw chats, and, of course, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Didi Woodson. And there isn't much more to say. We started it off with an in-ring segment, the WWE Champion Bobby Lashley and an MVP running their mouth about the other night, and then interrupted by, of all people, the new United States Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest. And this led into a major, this led into a lot of things. And it led into a match between Damian Priest and Bobby Lashley that got thrown out because of outside interference by Sheamus after 90 seconds, minute and a half. And then we restarted the match as a tag team match, player. Bobby Lashley and Sheamus against Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. And McIntyre and Priest, they win the match. I don't have a time of the fall on that one. But, yeah, lots to sort out here. The promo portion of this was quick and effective. MVP was great as usual. And Lashley was stoic as he provided the necessary facial expressions when necessary. Seeing Damian Priest potentially begin a new feud with Lashley is an interesting way to go. This would be a completely fresh combination that would definitely provide us with some hard-hitting fights. Sheamus ruining the match was a bit of a letdown, but the tag match that followed was good enough to make up for it. With four powerhouses like this in the ring, you're going to get some high-impact offense. It's weird to see McIntyre and Lashley back in the ring together since McIntyre cannot challenge him for the WWE Championship again. Other than that detail, this was a decent way to spend the first 40 minutes or so of the show. Promo segment, fine and was effective enough, solid and effective. The first match, Priest and Lashley, that got thrown out, so that's an NA. But the match that we had with this, I probably would give that about 3 to 3.25 stars for the effort. So, not much more to say. MF, a lot. This took a good 40 or so minutes of the show, and Damian Priest going after Lashley, champion.
I like it. Let's do it. I'm all for it. Like you said, what was the one thing you've always said, Florio? Fresh faces, fresh new rivalries is what you've been craving and looking for.
Desperately.
Why not have the brand new United States Heavyweight Champion go right after the WWE champ? I'm all for it. I know that's probably going to be, the pick of the month, whatever you want to say. You can probably also make an argument that it probably won't last much long with the title reign. But my God, if you can pull the reign on that one and actually let that happen, I mean, you're talking about something really, really, really special. And like I said, I'm all for it. This was really good, very interesting to say the very least, and it basically gave us something very special. I mean, did anybody expect it to be Damian Priest? No, and I don't mind that Drew McIntyre was there to help out with Damian Priest, and maybe here's the thing. As long as the Bobby Lashley is the WWE champion, Drew McIntyre can't go after the title. So maybe I scratch your back, you scratch my back, help Damian get to the belt, and then have a gentleman's bout between McIntyre and Priest for the WWE title? I could see that. I mean, that could be an interesting battle. Of course, you also got to remember Bobby Lashley. Not Bobby Lashley. You also got to remember Sheamus, and Sheamus is spitting mad because of the fact of how he lost the U.S. title at SummerSlam a couple of nights ago. So obviously, he wants to get the belt back. Why not go after the guy who's got the belt? So I actually don't mind it. This was an enjoyable 40 minutes. I really enjoy it. First fight, okay, throw it away. That's an NA. Second fight, 3.5 stars. I totally agree. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, the segment, I mean, yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, basically it was basically MVP and Bobby Lashley basically running their mouths, being the braggadocious a-holes that they are, and basically calling the San Diego crowd and other members of the WWE Universe cowards for what they would do to Bobby Lashley, and basically Bobby Lashley, well, MVP basically said, if you got a problem with that, Bobby Lashley's got a thing to say to you. And he said, you all can go to hell. I'm like, whoa. That's basically, I don't know about you guys, but that's Bobby Lashley going after those people that are basically saying, oh, Bobby Lashley took a cheap shot. But this is him basically saying, too damn bad. If you don't like it, go to hell. Well, we totally disagree with everything you just said, and
that's basically a shot at basically Bullock. That was a shot at all of the IWC for what happened for his actions that he did on Saturday night, including what he did to Gage. That's basically what that was attributed.
Yeah, basically saying if you don't like it, you can go straight to hell. So. Yeah, even though I disagree with him, and basically I would say the same thing to him, but, story for another day. But, yeah, of all people, Damian Priest, I mean, he comes out and basically calls out the champ, and, yeah, we get a match between them. Fortunately, it's an NA thanks to Sheamus. And then Drew comes out, and basically we get a tag team match player, and 3.5 stars. I agree with the rating here, and yeah, I could see a fresh matchup with Damian Priest and Bobby Lashley. Now, I mean, could he become the next number one contender for the title? We'll just have to wait and see. So, I really got nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Oh yeah, I think he could be become the number one contender. In fact, I think he could be the one that could carry the show. Damian is a very very strong competitor, very well, does very well in the ring, knows his business very very well too. So yeah, it was a big surprise to see him out there. But at the same time, I think it was a nice change of pace. So yeah, I'm going to agree with the rating and toss it to you, Florio.
And there's one other thing, Florio. I mean, we got to bring up. I mean, what happened at the end of the match? Bobby Lashley basically took a powder. He took a powder and left Sheamus, I mean, high and dry.
Walked out on him.
Yeah, and later on, Sheamus was not too happy with what Bobby Lashley did, and Bobby Lashley's like, "Hey, I never needed your help," and yeah, and after what we saw, these two are gonna go at it. They're gonna butt heads next week on Raw. So, and that's definitely going to be, as you would say, Fletch, a Michael Fletcher be a man fight when you got these two guys colliding.
Yeah, and I know where Anthony was going with this. Normally That's a cardinal sin. You know, you get dilemmas, you get something. You normally have that happen outside of the ring. You never ever leave your partner in the middle of a match in tag team wrestling. That's a major no-no.
Yeah, it's an unwritten law in the world of professional wrestling. Yeah, if you have problems, you settle them outside the ring, not inside.
Yeah, but remember, Florio, you know, sometimes things are meant to be broken, Florio. That things are meant to be broken there.
And Bobby
Yes.
Lashley is like, hey, as the almighty WWE champion, I can do whatever the hell I want to do.
Yeah, let me guess, a Cerebral Viper proverb, right, MF?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Of course. But all kidding aside, let's get into what we had next up. Well, one question that we were wondering, what was going to be the direction of Karrion Kross as after losing the NXT Championship last night at TakeOver 36 to Samoa Joe? Well, we found out the answer all right. He deliciously squashes Ricochet in 90 seconds. What? Wow. I mean, all right. Now, you know what I usually do with cutouts here. This is the new thing I've been doing. If there's ever a time where anybody wants to address anything during a certain cutout, feel free. And but Bullock, I mean, your former champion just took out one of the best young competitors in Ricochet, and he squashes him in 90 seconds.
Well, I think Ricochet unfortunately learned a lesson the hard way. I mean, you don't mess with an angry Karrion Kross after he lost the NXT title, and he found out the hard way. And I don't know about you guys, but you saw the gear that he had. I mean, it looks a little different. I mean, yes, he's got the same music and everything, but
dude, the gear looks hideous. Dude, I'm sorry. I got a call. What the hell was that?
Yeah, the gear was awful. I think they're trying to put him in a gladiator type situation. I don't know. This gimmick sucks.
Dude, this reminds me of Farouk Asaj. Remember that gimmick?
96.
Remember that one?
96? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You know, one of them all very tight.
Yeah.
And the thing is, yeah. And what happened with that gimmick with Farouk?
Didn't really go anywhere. It didn't. That particular gimmick didn't go anywhere, but it ended up working out for him because it led into one of the most iconic stables in WWE.
As the leader of domination.
Yeah. And then he was able to parlay that into the APA and still made it work. So no, I get it. But as far as this goes, no. If you're Karrion Kross, I'd be pissed right now. This is not what I signed up for Monday Night Raw. I mean,
I'd be like, what the bleep are you doing with me? I ain't wearing that crap.
I mean, look, I like the delicious squash. I like what they did because it looks like they're gonna make him into a monster. That's fine. I get it. Now that he's full-time Monday Night Raw, now we can see how this plays out. And I'll say this, as minus the ugly outfit and the ugly gear that he got, if this is what we're gonna get from Kross, I'm for it. I'm all for it. I'm cool with it. I think he'll be fine. But they gotta work on that gimmick.
Let's just bring Scarlett back. We'll keep him the way he was in NXT, but keep this monster persona that he's got right now. Just lose this awful gimmick and bring Scarlett back. I mean, that's what the fans were chanting anyway.
Exactly.
And I mean, she wasn't there on NXT Takeover. She wasn't there, or she hasn't been on Raw with him at all yet. So, you know, it wasn't broke, so why fix it? You know,
Exactly.
that's my philosophy.
Right. So, all right. The match didn't set the world on fire, but this is how Cross should have been booked from the start. The more unstoppable he looks, the more the crowd will buy into his character. WWE is still keeping Scarlett off TV for some odd reason, so Cross's entrance still falls a bit flat. His new ring gear and mask are going to lead to some funny memes in the coming days, and while it would be nice to see Ricochet in a better role, he did a good job selling in this match. If you're going to end up losing, you should do it well and make the other person look good, and that's exactly what Ricochet did tonight. So we'll make that an NA. All right. So all right. So what happened next was me being Mr. Sarcastic and condescending and all that. There was a meme on Mean Gene Okerlund a long time ago called Condescending CM Punk. Well, you're going to hear Condescending Anthony Floyer right about now. Because what we had up next was the most anticipated segment in Raw history. Get excited. Logan Paul on the Moist TV show. Yeah, that's going to put some butts in the seats. The toilet seats. Hey-o. So, and did you hear that heat that he got tonight? Wow. That was Eva Marie, X-Pac, go away heat. And quite frankly, I loved it from that perspective. But something we actually did get a payoff out of this, believe it or not. Yes, we had the segment. But then Xavier Woods comes out and it leads into a match with Xavier Woods goes up against The Miz, and Xavier Woods wins the match in 11 minutes and 40 seconds. But then after the match, The Miz turns on John Morrison. We get the implosion of The Miz and Morrison. So all I can say is MF, I mean, we certainly don't have to talk about the segment unless you want to address the X-Pac and Eva Marie heat that Logan Paul got tonight. And
you know why they did that? Because Logan Paul is fighting this Saturday night or in a couple of weeks against Tyron Woodley. That is why that happened. So because Jake Paul, Logan Paul has been having boxing matches, exhibitions, you could say. They fought in guys like Floyd Mayweather. One of them knocked out an MMA fighter not too long ago, but I find whatever. And now one of them is about to fight Tyron Woodley. And Woodley, for the love of God, knock the mother bleeper out. That's my thing. As far as the fight goes, as far as the match goes between Miz and Xavier, excellent match. Good fight. I could give this 3 stars. I mean, it was a good, solid one-on-one. I enjoyed it. Outcome was never in doubt. So, I mean, and as far as the implosion goes, about damn time. I was waiting for them to explode. I think Morrison will be better off on his own. And I think The Miz will be better on his own. I can't wait to see the battles. I think they'll be entertaining. And there's really nothing more to add. So, Bullock, is yours.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as far as the Xavier Woods and The Miz, this was definitely better than what I expected. I mean, I was expecting another short match, but this was about as better as what I expected. So 3 stars is my rating. And yeah, I mean, the implosion happened. I mean, it was about damn time. I mean, I think it was about time these two go their separate ways. And next week they're going to throw it down. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with the match next week. So there's really nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, this was definitely not one of the segments I was looking forward to. And no, I wasn't surprised about the heat that he got. And more than likely, that's partially why I think they sent the Miz out there or held the Miz back and then had him come out there. I think WWE knew there was going to be that much heat. And besides, we needed an excuse for them to destroy the team that they were, the friendship they had, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was about time it happened, and we all knew Miz had been using Morrison through most of their time together anyway, and it's about time that Morrison finally saw, what the rest of us have seen. Yeah, it came at the expense of Miz beating the crap out of him, but I really don't care what happens to either one of these guys. I don't like either one of them. So, yeah, the match, I can agree with the rating on the match. But no, it's no surprise that this team is gone. And next week's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's still not a top priority for me to watch that match. But, yay, it'll be interesting just to see, how Morrison gives Miz his retribution for what hell Miz has put him through lately. So, yeah, nothing else I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
There is not a single WWE superstar outside of Eva Marie, X-Pac, what have you, who had the level of heat Logan Paul had in this segment in years. It was a remarkable sight to behold. The match that followed between Xavier Woods and The Miz was the right length and allowed both men to shine at different points. The talk show segment, even though I didn't care for it, was fine, but the match was the highlight. Woods needs to have more singles bouts. And now that The Miz and Morrison have officially broken up, Jomo can turn babyface so they can renew their rivalry from many years ago. Their last feud was great, so let's hope they can recapture that magic when they were feuding over the WWE Championship early 2011. So we'll wait and see on that. So 3 to 3.25 stars, definitely the sleeper fight of the night. I told Bullock during our Raw chat, I wasn't expecting anything good out of that. So they surprised the hell out of us. So all right. So with that being said, let's move on here. Then we had then there was 24/7 silliness. We're not gonna bother with that. Jinder Mahal with Veer and Shanky against Mansoor with Mustafa Ali. Mansoor wins the match via disqualification in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Jinder got a little too aggressive. Didn't break before the count of 5. This will be an NA here. Match was short and uneventful, but what may come from it could be interesting. If Mansoor can't turn Mustafa Ali into a good guy, maybe Ali will corrupt him instead. This new team has quickly meshed into a good combo, but they have a long way to go before they hold the tag titles. Mahal getting himself disqualified was fine in this situation because it was done to make a point. It might not be the most exciting outcome, but it's better than him simply squashing Mansoor. So there isn't much more to say on that. So then Charlotte Flair comes out, the new Raw Women's Champion. She came out and another gloating heel promo as you would expect. But then she was interrupted by Alexa Bliss and Lily. Well, it looks like we might have Charlotte's next challenger here. Could it be Alexa? I mean, very, very interesting to say the very least. And so she goes from working with the almost superhero Nikki ASH and now possibly to Alexa and Lily. Very interesting, but a fantastic heel promo as always. So there isn't much more to say. Then we had a women's tag team match. We had Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley teaming up against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH win the match 10 minutes and 15 seconds. And Michael Bullock, Rhea Ripley did it to Shayna Baszler just like she did December 18th of 2019 on NXT for the NXT Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley got the better of Shayna Baszler one more time.
Definitely brought up memories for me of that night with these two. So, yeah, I mean, I thought this was a fine match here. I mean, I'll give it about 2.5 to 3 for the effort here. So, yeah, obviously, Nikki ASH and Rhea needed this one more, especially after both came up on the losing end of that triple threat match for the Raw Women's title at SummerSlam. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, this was a well done match. It was surprising to see how well Nikki and Rhea worked together for the second time in a row. And yeah, you know, they were able to knock down the powerhouse that Shayna and Nia are, and they did a great job. So yeah, I could agree with Bullock's rating on this. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, another pleasant surprise of a match. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect with this, but this ended up being another pleasant surprise. I mean, this was a relatively standard tag match in terms of how it played out, but they were given a good amount of time and had some nice spots. So it ended up being slightly better than some of Jackson Baszler's other recent bouts. Nikki and Ripley have weirdly satisfying chemistry. If WWE doesn't overdo it and lets their natural differences play into their characters, they could make a good tag team in the division that sorely needs more duos. As far as Jackson Baszler go, WWE needs to commit to the breakup or stop teasing it. We're beyond the breaking point with this angle. So another 3 to 3.25 star match. MF, look at this. Another pleasant surprise here this evening. I wasn't expecting much out of this, but man, these 4 women definitely surprised the hell out of us. What a match.
I am actually loving the fact that we might actually get a Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH partnership. It kind of gives me the feel of a Team Hell No, or I'll even go one better, the Hurricane and Kane. And we remember how that played out. So I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic with how this could end up, and I'm very excited. I know a lot of people were a little apprehensive about it at the beginning, but I think at the end of the day, I think this will work. I think to have Nikki ASH and to have Rio working together as a unit, dude, this could be the start of something beautiful, to say the very least. So, I mean, this could be fun. So I got nothing more to add. Anthony, it's yours.
Did you give your rating for the match, MF?
I could give this the same rating as you guys have given.
All right, and you brought back a great memory about Hurricane and Kane. I mean, those were back in our stage announce table days, MF, and the times we had on that, and
I could say that this is the female version of what we have right now with Riddle and RKO.
Absolutely, you could definitely.
Yes, definitely. I concur on that one. You could say Nikki ASH is definitely the Riddle, and Rhea Ripley is definitely Randy Orton.
Yeah, Nikki and Riddle are, you know, the funny campy comedy goofballs, the lovable campy comedy goofballs, whereas Rhea and Orton are the no nonsense, are just the no nonsensers, and just going along with it. So, and MF brought up a great point about Hurricane and Kane. You know, back in our stage announce table days, all the fun we had with that, and when you bring up Hurricane and Kane, you always have to think about one of our all-time favorite matches that we did back in those days, MF. That infamous TLC match from the Raw Roulette in Vegas. Oh boy, did we have fun with that. So
oh yeah, I remember that very well.
Indeed. So but we'll wait and see with that. We'll see. So yeah, what another pleasant surprise on a show that ended up being, I didn't really have much hope going into this. I thought it was going to be a back to reality show, and while we did have some senses of that, we ended up getting a much more better show than I initially expected. And I know there are some people out there who are probably not going to echo our sentiments, and we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, then we had the championship celebration for Team RK Bro, Riddle and Randy Orton, interrupted by AJ Styles and Omos, and it led into our main event of the evening, Riddle versus the phenomenal AJ Styles, and Riddle finally gets the Duke over AJ Styles. Riddle wins the match 13 and a half minutes. Didi Woodson, what a great way to close out what ended up being a very surprising tonight.
It was, and this was a great match. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised at how it went as well. This is another one I could do up to 3 stars on. I mean, it was very well done. The chemistry was very, very good between these guys, and it's funny, he gives Randy Orton the scooter, and then Randy uses it later to beat up Omos, who has a habit, as they were saying as they were coming out to the ring, of breaking Riddle's scooters. So this was, this had a little bit of the comedy in it, but it also it was very well done. These guys work very well together. So yeah, I was fairly impressed with how it came out. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Foil.
I could go as far as to call this the fight of the night. 3.5 stars. We should have seen this coming. Of course, WWE is going to book 2 people who just fought this past weekend to have another match on Raw. The good news is it was AJ Styles and Riddle. So the match was physical and competitive. The Bro is a great athlete, but the real star of the bout was Styles. He continues to be one of the most reliable and fluid performers in any ring on earth. Finding a bad Styles match is like finding a leprechaun. It doesn't happen. So 3.5 stars, and great way to close out what ended up being a better than expected edition of Monday Night Raw this evening. So not much more to say. MF, Riddle and Styles, no surprise they ended up being the fight of the night, and what a great way to close out, like I said, what ended up being a much better than expected show here tonight. So MF, your thoughts?
Better than expected, great outcome, great battles, tremendous wrestling. You can't go wrong with it. Great night all the way around. 7.5 out of 10. Excellent Monday Night Raw. Better than expected. Bullock, is yours.
Well, we weren't ready for the Raw review yet, but I was throwing it to you for the main event there.
Well, then you know what? It's fine. I'll tip my hand on that too. 3.5 stars on the main event. Great battle. Like you said, Riddle and AJ, they worked really good and they worked really fine and everything else. I would love to see Orton versus Omos. I know I'm teasing that because everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to see Orton put the RKO on that big boy. So
I know I do.
I know, yeah, because I know what's going to happen. Because of the fact that it's no longer me being the lead commentator, it's you that's going to lose your mind. You're going to be the one that's going to be flipping out if that happens.
Imagine what Jimmy Smith's going to do.
Oh, my God.
You know how energetic he is.
Dude, Jimmy Smith is one of the reasons why Monday Night Raw is actually enjoyable. It's him and it's him and Corey Graves. Byron Saxton, get the bleep off of my TV. I should.
Amen.
Shut up, Saxton. That's all I could think of. That's like me telling
Stand
Michael
to
Bullock.
hell.
That's like me telling Michael Bullock to shut up half the time.
Whatever.
And he always says that on the commentary as well. It's like, Didi Wilson, you're actually getting the real commentary right now from the three of us. This is how it normally happens on Raw.
Exactly.
But anyway, so 3.5 stars. If I was I know it's not my turn for the overall, but I already tipped my hand, so no need for me to reiterate.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So we'll do it in reverse. We'll do it in a bit of a reverse order. I'll just take it.
Hey, what about me?
You did. I guess I just got so caught up in all that. So
Oh,
hey,
come on, Florio.
got caught up in the excitement.
Yeah, 3.5 stars. Fight of the night. Yeah, these two definitely. They always put on a good match, and this was definitely no different. And yeah, Orton going after Omos, and I'm with you guys. I want to see Orton and Omos in a match, so I want to see if Orton can hit that RKO on that big fella. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Now let's get to our overall review.
All right, and I will start it off. And well, MF already gave it, so I'll take it here. Tonight's Raw was like I said, way better than expected. However, it is still not what you would call a must-see television. We actually got something on this show that we hardly see on Raw nowadays. A few first-time matches and a couple of new storylines kicked off. The repetitive rematches were kept to a minimum, and most of the matches we saw tonight were solid. I mean, the main event, of course, that was the fight of the night, no doubt about it. That opening tag team match with McIntyre and Priest against Sheamus and Lashley, that was very good. The women's tag team match was very good. Nia and Shayna against Nikki and Rhea, and Xavier Woods and The Miz, surprisingly good. So we had 4 quality matches, a couple of good segments here and there. So I believe the correct rating would fall. I believe that would constitute a 7 to 7.5. Absolutely, one of the better Monday Night Raws we've had in recent weeks. And I know this show is not going to be for everybody. I'm sure some are probably going to poo-poo on this, like a certain someone that we know. So
Ferreira.
Yeah. That's what I was going for. But anywho, surprisingly good show tonight. 7 to 7.5, pleasant surprise, and I only hope we can get more Raws like this going forward, especially with football season around the corner, when Monday Night Football returns in 3 weeks, with the Ravens and the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium, the home of this past Saturday's SummerSlam and the home of next year's Money in the Bank pay-per-view, 4th of July weekend. Ho, ho, ho. You want to talk about fireworks? Oh, my goodness. That's going to be insanity. So a B pay-per-view on a huge stage. I'm still in La La Land over that. So there isn't much more to.
I just hope that they have pyro next year, because I heard that basically it was Allegiant Stadium that screwed the pooch on WWE. That's why we didn't get the pyro, because they wrote in their thing that there was no pyro allowed. What the bleep was that? I mean, seriously, Allegiant? You did that to them? Dogs, you did them dirty. You did WWE so dirty.
Yeah, they sure did, didn't they? So
they literally dropped the ball on WWE.
But then again, doesn't Allegiant Stadium have like some roof on it or something?
You could still pull it off. Are you kidding me? It's not.
Oh yeah.
The way that the stage was set it up, I mean, that was not what WWE had in mind. I'm pretty sure they had something else in mind, but because they had to follow Allegiant rules, and on top of that, there was no food, there was no drinks. So the fans basically was stuck in the mud on that one. Allegiant Stadium was a complete and utter mess, and I cannot. And the thing is, this is not on WWE, folks. This was Allegiant Stadium. This was them that effed up, not WWE. WWE put on a great show despite what Allegiant was trying to do.
All right. So
Yeah, and if anybody tries to call WWE out on this one, including, like I said, Derek Ferreira, I'm
There's
calling
no
this out.
need. There's no need to call WWE out on this one. And
No way.
as a matter of fact, the SummerSlam itself was even better because of it. So no, this was one of their best SummerSlams in a number of years. If there's any complaints about this show, then you need to get your eyes checked. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly, Fletch. They need to get their eyes checked whatsoever.
Indeed. So so that's all there is to say there. So 7.5 for me. Michael Bullock, let's get to your overall thoughts on this surprisingly good, this sleeper edition of Monday Night Raw, which we didn't really have much hope for. But boy, howdy, they ended up delivering an even better show than we thought. Wow.
Did Fletch already go?
Yeah, he thought we were doing the Raw review. That's why he gave his score away. He gave it 7.5.
All right. Yes, 7.5 for me. I mean, this turned out to be much better than what I expected. I mean, this was. I mean, I'm not going to say it was the greatest, but it was much better than what we've seen in the past. So, yeah, like you said, Florio, I mean, I know there's probably going to be some people that are going to poo-poo all over this one, including Derek Ferreira. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. And this goes to him. If you don't like what you see on Raw, don't watch it. Nobody's making you watch it. I mean, because there's going to come a point in time people are going to get sick and tired of your rants. And I'm going to keep repeating this until, well, he stops watching it. Period. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I could give this a 7.5 as well. I mean, this was definitely a better Raw than what we have had in quite a long time. The matches actually made sense. They actually were very well done. Yeah, we had some duds. Yeah, we had some things that weren't, that great. But we had some, we did have some storylines that built off of stuff that had happened at the pay-per-view. And, it was very, like I said, it was very well done. So I think they're getting a little bit better when it comes to putting the show together. At least for this week, they were. Let's just hope that they continue this trend that they've got going with this week as we go into leading into the next pay-per-view. So fingers crossed that Raw doesn't let us down next week, that we continue this pleasantness that we had tonight. So not much more I'm going to add. Good night, guys. See ya Friday.
All right, Dee, we'll see you on Friday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk at our new start time, and we'll address that at the end of the show. But you already know what that start time is. So, all right, Tony's take, and we're gonna get into last week's edition of Impact Wrestling, and we started it off with the before the Impact match. It was Tasha Steelz squaring off against Jessica Havoc, and Tasha Steelz won the match in 6 minutes and 43 seconds, 2.25 stars. Perfectly okay match, exactly what you would expect for BTI. Then on the main show, we had Sami Callihan and Chris Sabin squaring off against Ace Austin and Moose. Callihan and Sabin win it in 11 minutes and 51 seconds. By default, this was the fight of the night, 2 3/4 of a star. Really good match between these guys. They played up the tension without getting dramatic about it until after the bout, and everyone worked well. Then we had Mahabali Shera against Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona wins in 10 minutes and 10 seconds, 2-star match. Shera continues to be not very good. Cardona was fine, but this was not the best match for him. Then we had a great Christian promo, cutting a great promo, interrupted by Brian Myers and Sam Beal, and that came out pretty good. Then we had Melina Perez, wrestling in an Impact Wrestling ring. She went up against Brandy Lauren, or as she was known in her previous stint with Impact, Ava Story. Melina squashes her deliciously in 2 minutes and 4 seconds. But Melina did have a bit of ring rust, and so it wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. And then Deonna Purrazzo comes out and attacks Melina. And then Aiden English, or Matthew Raywalt, he shortly got involved, and then Trey Miguel came in. And that's going to lead to a big mixed tag team match this Thursday on Impact. Trey Miguel and Melina against Matthew Raywalt and Deonna Purrazzo. And then, of course, it leads to the big show on Saturday night, which I know MF's probably going to address. The NWA Empower, the all-women's pay-per-view, when Melina Perez challenges Deonna Purrazzo for the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship. So that's all there is to say there. Jake Something versus Caleb with a K, no disqualification match. Jake Something squashes him in 2 minutes. That was another delicious squash. Nothing more to say. Then we had, in the main event, Doc Gallows against Joe Doring. Joe Doring in 15 minutes. Yeah, this was not good. 1 3/4 of a star. This would have been a semi-decent bout if it hadn't been ground to an absolute halt with a through the stage spot. Yeah, you can do the spot fine, but don't spend what felt like 4 hours having them lay there, then climb back to the ring for a couple moves to finish it. Bummer of a finish. 6 out of 10. There was a lot of good here in the hard sell of Impact Wrestling, though the main event was very flat. It put a sour note on the episode, but a very solid opener, good Christian promo, some delicious and effective squash matches, made it an okay episode overall. Not my favorite by any means, but you could do more. You can do worse than watching it. So not much more to say there. And like I said, coming up Thursday night on Impact Wrestling, that big mixed tag team matchup where Trey Miguel teams up with Melina to square off against Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywalt. And let me see, what else do I have? I have the card right here. That mixed tag. And then we also have Sami Callihan one-on-one with Chris Sabin. And we will also see Chris Bay square off against David Finlay. So that's what you can expect on that. I did not see the Impact Wrestling Emergence show because, hello, it was on Friday night, and we had a very busy Friday night, to say the very least. Not just with SmackDown, but also with AEW Rampage, which featured the epic return of CM Punk. And what I can do, however, is I can just give you the results of the match of the matches. This was from the Emergence Impact Plus special that aired this past Friday night. Matt Cardona went up against, it was Matt Cardona versus Rohit Raju. Matt Cardona wins the match, 11 minutes and 35 seconds. Then we had an 8-person intergender tag team match. All 4 members of Decay, Black Taurus, Crazy Steve, Jessica Havoc, and Rosemary against Falaba, No Way, Savannah Evans, and Tasha Steeles. Decay wins that in 8 minutes and 35 seconds. Steve Macklin versus Petey Williams. Steve Macklin wins in 9 minutes and 58 seconds. Definitely a nostalgic knockouts match here. This took me back to like 2008, 2009, just about, when we saw Madison Rayne square off against Taylor Wilde. Madison Rayne won the match, 7 minutes and 27 seconds. We had a Fatal 4-Way match to determine the number 1 contender for the Impact World Championship. Sami Callihan, Moose, Chris Sabin, Ace Austin. Ace Austin wins the match, 11 minutes and 21 seconds. X Division Championship on the line. Josh Alexander versus Jake Something. 17 minutes and 14 seconds. Josh Alexander retains the title. I read some reviews. I read that this was I read very positive reviews about this match. I mean, one reviewer I read gave that match 4.5 stars, and I'm like, really? I'm like, I gotta go out of my way to see that, and I will eventually. Actually, the mixed tag was on the Emergence special. My mistake. It was Matthew Raywalt and Deonna Purrazzo against Trey Miguel and Molina. It went down on this show. I do apologize for that little botch. Raywalt and Purrazzo, they win the match 10 minutes, 15 seconds. The Good Brothers defended the World Tag Team titles in a three-way match against Rich Swann and Willie Mack in Violent by Design. Good Brothers retained the titles 10 minutes and 51 seconds. And in the main event, Christian Cage, Brian Myers, Impact World Championship. Christian Cage retains the title 12 minutes and 15 seconds. So that's all there is to say on that. So we'll see what happens on the shows coming up. So quickly get into 205 Live, and then we'll call it a night here. We started off with Andre Chase versus Ike Manjiro, and it was Ike Manjiro in 9 minutes and 52 seconds. Easily one of the best matches that we've seen on 205 Live in some time. Definitely check this one out, as they had some creative spots and hit each other hard. I want to see more of Chase and Jiro, and Jiro is so over with the NXT crowd. He needs to be featured more. 3.5 stars. And then Grayson Waller against Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy in 9 minutes. It was rather good as they hit each other hard, and Waller stood in there and went toe-to-toe with Gacy. 3-star match. 7.5 out of 10. Best show in a good while as both matches delivered. Jiro continues to be in a bright spot, and Chase looked good in the loss. And the main event was best 205 versus non-205 match we've had since that became a thing. Spend that 30 minutes to check it out. So 7.5 out of 10 for me on that. So with that said, that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in this evening. We'll be back with you on Wednesday Night Mayhem. MF will have that, Brave Spray 95, as we will have NXT and AEW Dynamite. Thursday, the season finale of Strictly Sports. Hang about, MF, because I'm going to drop the docket right here and right now. First and foremost, we will address the retirement of a man that MF and I will forever hold in our hearts, Henrik Lundqvist. Henrik Lundqvist, the longtime goaltender of the New York Rangers. He signed for a minute with the Washington Capitals, but I don't think he ever really got to play with the Capitals. But Henrik Lundqvist announced his retirement from the NHL. MF and I will definitely wax poetic on that. You know we're going to have a lot to say about that. And then MF will have another Big Three basketball recap. And then from there, now, MF, I don't know if you want to address the Manny Pacquiao fight. I mean, I know that's something that you posted on Facebook the other night, talking about Ugis pulling off the upset there. If you want to address it, I'll make time for it.
I'll address it. Yeah, I'll address it because by all indications and by many people, this might have been the last fight Manny Pacquiao has ever fought. There's definitely some people that think that Pacquiao is going to retire. So, I might definitely get into this because this might be an end of an era in boxing.
All right, so let's do this. We'll start the show with the Henrik Lundqvist retirement, absolutely, and then from there we'll do. I'll turn the mic over to MF and have him give his thoughts on the Manny Pacquiao and Ugis fight that went down the same night as SummerSlam in the same city, only it was in a different venue. It was the second biggest venue in Vegas, not Allegiant Stadium, but the other big venue, the T-Mobile Arena.
T-Mobile,
Yep, T-Mobile Arena will have that, and we'll have that. MF will also give us the latest Big Three basketball recap as it's getting down to the nitty-gritty in that. It's getting towards crunch time.
We're heading to the Final Four is set. We're going to the Bahamas, baby.
All right.
We're going. Atlantis, hello. We're heading.
All right. Playoff time.
Yep.
All right. So, and MF will let us know what the playoff matches are. And then in our double main event, we will preview both the 2021 college football season, like we always do, the Power 5 conferences and Notre Dame. And we will also preview the 2021 NFL season. that and all that will take place this Thursday night at 10:30 as part of our season finale of Strictly Sports. And then 1 week later, September 2nd, mark that date down, folks. Thursday, September 2nd, the season premiere of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. And now when I say get excited, now I'm being serious. I'm not being sarcastic like I was earlier. So you definitely don't want to miss that, because we all know how huge the College Football Thursday shows have been over the years. And I cannot wait to get into that, especially week 1, 5 ranked matchups. Let's go. And then Friday night, our brand and we started it this past Friday, and we're going to do it going forward. Friday nights are the Cerebral Smack Talk will now be starting at a new time, no longer 10:30. It will now be starting at 11 p.m. as we will review both Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage. That'll be on Friday, and then next week, right back here for Ridiculously Raw as we slowly but surely start the road to the Extreme Rules pay-per-view next month. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Mayhem, this is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel Didi Woodson, and always in forever, the Yankee Messiah 401 Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And as we always like to say at the end of these shows, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. And bye, everybody, bye.